Sugar and the brain have always had a complicated relationship. On one hand, your brain loves sugar. In fact, it runs on glucose, the simplest form of sugar, and consumes about 20% of the body's energy despite only weighing about 3 pounds. On the other hand, too much sugar, especially the refined, added kind found in everything from soda to salad dressing, can quietly sabotage your brain over time. It's like giving your car high-octane fuel, but then flooding the engine every time you fill the tank. The right amount of sugar powers clarity and focus. Too much? You're looking at inflammation, insulin resistance, and a gradual dulling of cognitive edge. The trick, it turns out, isn't to ban sugar completely. It's to find the brain's sweet spot. Let's get one thing straight. Your brain does not need candy to function. It needs glucose, yes, but that glucose is best delivered slowly and steadily via complex carbohydrates, fruits, and fiber-rich vegetables. When you overconsume added sugars, think pastries, soda, white bread, and sweetened yogurts, your blood sugar levels spike and crash. This roller coaster, repeated daily, has been shown to impair memory, slow processing speed, and even shrink parts of the hippocampus, the brain's main memory hub. It's not just bad for your waistline, it's bad for your wisdom. But here's the good news. Enjoying sweets doesn't require a brain health trade-off if you approach them with a little strategy. In fact, a life entirely without dessert sounds more like a punishment than a solution. The key is how and when you indulge. Eating sweets after a balanced meal, one that includes fiber, protein, and healthy fats, blunts the glucose spike and helps avoid the sharp crash that can leave you foggy and fatigued. A cookie after lunch is a very different story, metabolically, than a cookie by itself at 3 p.m. Timing matters, but so does quality. Natural sugars from whole foods such as dates, berries, or a drizzle of honey over Greek yogurt come bundled with antioxidants, vitamins, and fiber that mitigate the inflammatory effects of sugar. In contrast, ultra-processed sweets offer the sugar without any of the redeeming nutritional companions. The result? More oxidative stress, more insulin resistance, and less support for the parts of your brain involved in decision-making and memory. Chronic overconsumption of sugar has even been called type 3 diabetes by some Alzheimer's researchers. That's how strongly high sugar intake is linked to impaired brain insulin signaling, which in turn has been associated with higher risks of dementia. But don't let that scare you into giving up joy. Let it motivate you to treat sugar like a spice, not a staple. A few squares of dark chocolate, a bowl of berries, a slice of banana bread made with oats and nuts. These can all satisfy your sweet tooth while still respecting your brain. And then there's the role of taste retraining. When you start dialing down your sugar intake, your palate slowly resets. Things that once tasted bland, like roasted carrots, fresh apples, or even plain yogurt, begin to taste surprisingly sweet. It's like giving your taste buds a software update. The payoff? Less craving, more enjoyment, and a more stable brain chemistry baseline. Sugar doesn't just affect memory and mood. It influences inflammation, sleep, anxiety, and even neuroplasticity. But a healthy relationship with sweets doesn't require a vow of abstinence. It requires curiosity, moderation, and some simple swaps. Add cinnamon for flavor, without the blood sugar spike. Choose dark chocolate over milk. Bake with applesauce instead of refined sugar. These aren't sacrifices, they're upgrades. So, yes, your brain does need sugar, but it needs the right kind, at the right time, in the right company. Think of sugar not as the enemy, but as a guest. Welcome it occasionally, but don't let it move in and redecorate. Your brain, in all its complexity and sensitivity, deserves fuel that keeps it bright, balanced, and beautifully alive for decades to come. And if that includes a mindful bite of brownie now and then, that's just sweet thinking.